Welcome to Virginia Square, the redheaded stepchild of Arlington's Orange Line. You know, you got Ballston on one side and Clarendon on the other. And Virginia Square is kind of just in the middle hanging out. They don't really get, they're like the Rodney Dangerfield of the Orange Line, right? They don't get the respect of their neighbors. So in this video, we're gonna do a walking tour of the neighborhood, and I'm gonna show you the cool spots because yes, there are cool spots, and we're gonna get some history along the way. So first up are these row homes right here, and they may just look like ordinary row homes, but they actually have some interesting history. They were built in 1938, and they were one of the last row homes to be built before Arlington banned townhouses. Yes, that's right. Arlington banned townhouses in 1938. There was a lot of development happening in the early 1920s up into the 30s because of the streetcar in Arlington, and it seems like the same story is played out. The community didn't want townhouses to take over the neighborhood. They liked their single family houses, and so a couple developers got in and built some townhouses at 1938. So you don't have that many townhouses built after 1938 up until 1965 because they were literally outlawed in Arlington County. So you can get upset at the forefathers of Arlington for banning townhouses. Those prices, they're into the sevens and close to the eights now, I believe. And then that, if you saw a sign in the yard, that rental was going for about $3,200 to $3,300. Certainly pricey real estate. We're right next to Quincy Park. You know, if we want to do borders, we have Quincy Park here, and the borders of Virginia Square to the north are going to be Washington Boulevard. To the south is going to be Fairfax Drive, and then to the west you're going to have, let's call it Quincy, and then to the east you're going to have Kirkwood as well. You know, technically there are no single family houses in this part of Virginia Square, but if you actually want to get technical about it, Virginia Square will technically lead up to 66 on the north end. That is part of the Ballston Virginia Square Civic Association. So there are some townhouses nearby around Arlington Science Focus School and Washington Liberty School, which I went to both of those. Great schools, and I turned out halfway decent. So Quincy Park, here we have every sport under the sun. Let's see. How about it? How about it, Purple? Not today. Not today, Purple. So a little bit of softball. We have some basketball, some volleyball, some tennis over there, and then we have the Central Library as well. So we're heading south on Nelson Street right now. Over here we have the Monroe condominiums, one of the better condo buildings in the Virginia Square area. A little bit newer, a little bit nicer. What I like is that it's off of the strip, so it's a little quieter, except for maybe when she's at bat. Gets a little rowdy. Here we go. That was a 2 RBI triple. Look at that. So as we make our way through Virginia Square, we have the FDIC, about 500,000 square feet of commercial office space right behind us there, one of the larger employers in Virginia Square, if you will. You also have DARPA. I think DARPA may have moved right now. It's hard to keep track of those secret government consultants, but you know, the big entities in Virginia Square, FDIC, and then George Mason as well. Some of the bigger commercial, educational things going on. And as we make it to this corner, there's an interesting short story I want to share with you all. I think you might get some value out of it. So this building right here is called Latitude. It's an apartment building. It delivered in 2014, and it's got a unique story behind it. And when the Virginia Square sector plan came to be in 1980, which I'm sure all of you have read the Virginia Square sector plan, very engaging. They said that office buildings, commercial, should be on the north side of Fairfax Drive, and residential should be on the south side. So, south side, residential, Virginia Square condominiums, Virginia Square apartment. Down there we have Tower Villa, Virginia Square Towers, all residential. Then on the north side, we have all commercial here. You can't really see, but all commercial here. So when this building went up, originally they were planning for it to be commercial, but in 2014, they finagled some things and turned out to be residential. So lots of controversy at that point, but ultimately I think they made the right decision. And 1980 was a long time ago, and lots of things have changed since 1980. So I think if you have the demand for apartments, why not make it apartments? So the next thing we're gonna go and walk to is the George Mason Arlington campus, which is right down the street here at the entrance of Virginia Square. So we're on Fairfax right now, and we're gonna cross the road here shortly. So in that 1980 sector plan, one of the writers wrote that Fairfax Drive could turn into the Champs-Élysées of Arlington. Check it out. You have the road going that way, and then the buildings on both sides. I'll walk a little quick because someone's turning. Could be the Champs-Élysées. What do you think? I think they got a ways to go before anything in Virginia Square is compared to anything in Paris. And the thing about Virginia Square is you're not moving here for the culture. You're not moving here for the architecture or the unique businesses that call Virginia Square home. No one says, hey, let's go out to eat in Virginia Square. Although medium rare is pretty good, but there's better neighborhoods if you want better restaurants. You don't come and live here for the architecture, the restaurants, the culture. You come here because it's convenient. And you come here because you don't have the noise from Ballston. You don't have the rowdiness of Clarendon. And you don't have the prices of DC. That's why you come and you live in Virginia Square. And you're probably gonna be living at a Ditmar building, because Ditmar has a lot of rental apartments. They're clean, they're updated, some of them, and overall they're gonna suit a lot of people. All right, so we have made it to the Arlington campus of George Mason, and wanted to show you something on the far east side of the Virginia Square neighborhood. And some people can't tell the difference between Clarendon, Courthouse, Virginia Square, Ballston. Where does one neighborhood stop and start, and what's the difference? Let me give you a dividing line. How about this massive intersection? Why don't we use that as a dividing line? That's a pretty big dividing line. You think that splits two neighborhoods? We got Clarendon on the left, Northside Social's right over there, and then we have the Champs-Élysées. We have Virginia Square and George Mason University right here. Fun fact, what's wrong with this word? I'll give you 1, 2, 3 seconds. Take a look at that S. That S is upside down. Have you ever noticed that? Let me know in the comments section. You see how this S, there's a small width there and a bigger width down there, whereas that S has the bigger width on the top. It's an upside down S. See, these are the things that I notice when I'm walking around. So they're doing quite the development here at George Mason, the entrance to the Virginia Square neighborhood. They have the law school here. So hey, home to education. We have Pilates across the way there. We're gonna go to, I know that I said there were no ethnic restaurants and no good places to eat. We're gonna go to one good place to eat. We're gonna go to a fan favorite, a local spot. And even if you're not a local, you're gonna go there, because this place is unlike any other. Only one, a lot of copycats, but only one. So here's a better look at the law school right here. I mean, this is a big development. Lots of things going on. Tell you what, you use the word innovation and you're golden. If you say innovation, whether you're Virginia Tech or George Mason, you're good to go. So this block remains undeveloped for now. And then this block is also, let's call it underdeveloped. Clearly, some opportunities for some development in the future. We're on Kenmore Street right now, And it's this crowded parking lot right here. I mean, you would think it's still the auto dealership with how many cars are still here. But we have none other than the OG Pollo Rico. Let me tell you, El Pollo Rico, they've been around serving up rotisserie chicken since 1984. If you've had El Pollo Rico before, you can almost smell how good it tastes just from this video. It's so good that Anthony Bourdain even filmed an episode. Anthony Bourdain, RIP, filmed an episode of No Reservations at El Pollo Rico. My brother claims he was there when Anthony Bourdain was filming, and I've looked at the tape. I've scoured the background. I didn't see my brother. He probably was there. You know, if Anthony Bourdain is filming at a restaurant in Virginia Square, that restaurant's pretty darn good. I can tell you that much. If you're in Virginia Square, that is a must do. Now, one thing about El Pollo Rico, they've got fantastic chicken. Let me put it this way. If I'm going to a steak restaurant, I'm not gonna get excited about the salads. I'm not gonna say, oh, I can't wait to have the salad. With El Pollo Rico, they got great chicken. I get excited about the chicken. You're gonna talk to people, they're gonna say, oh, well, they don't have good sides. I don't go to a chicken place for the sides. I don't care about yuca fries. I go for the chicken. Wouldn't you go for the chicken too? I think so. All right, so another local OG spot across the way here. It's buzzing. Cars are everywhere. We have Mario's and we have Carvel. So, I'm gonna get a good angle so I can read you the sign to get the dates right. Mario's since 1957. Carvel since 1934. How is that even possible? I don't know if they've always stayed in the same spot, but Mario's has been holding down this spot for a long time. And there's something about Mario's. This, by the way, not the best pedestrian spot. And everyone's got a story about Mario's. Here's my story. Have it after midnight. It's gonna taste better after midnight. Trust me on that one. I've had it when the sun's out, and for some reason it doesn't taste as good. Have it after midnight. I can't imagine how long that these lots are gonna stay like this, but we just had I hate to say new development right over here. We had the CVS. You know, people complain about what used to be here, and there was the sketchiest motel that you've ever seen. So if you complain about a sketchy motel, they're gonna hit you with the Great Wall of Wilson Boulevard. So you really gotta pick your poison on what you complain about. Everything in Arlington is turning into a CVS or a 7-Eleven. I guess a CVS is better than a motel. And then behind me we have ARC 3409 condos. This was a condo conversion that happened in 2014. So this used to be an extended stay hotel, and they renovated pretty much everything. They did not renovate the gas station, but they renovated the condos, and it's a different building, right? It's not, you know, those angular, circular, cylindrical balconies are a little different. The floor plans are unique. The location is unique. It's not for everyone, but it's different. And I like it because it's different. It's got a great rooftop. Would highly recommend checking it out. Pretty much everything in Virginia Square is apartments and condos. Occasionally, you will have a couple townhouses. So this is a nice townhome community right here next to Hurt Cleaners, who have actually been around for quite some time as well. Growing up, I played soccer, and you know, you get a local business to sponsor your team, and we were called the Hertz Hammers. The Hertz Hammers soccer team growing up. 7 years old, little Matt, running around, number 7. I wanted to be like my boy Ronaldo, not Cristiano, but Brazilian Ronaldo with the hair. And then I wanted to switch teams because I switched from Long Branch to Science Focus. So when I switched teams, I had one of my buddies call me a traitor. 7 years old. My friends call me a traitor at 7 years old. It's crazy. Still remember that. Went from Hertz Hammers to the Cubs, which ended up being the Arlington Lightning. And for those who have kids in Arlington soccer, I think the Lightning is still around. Purple jerseys. Look for the purple jerseys. We have the most depressing building in Virginia Square coming up. There it is, folks. The worst building in Virginia Square. The Tobacco Hut. Cigars. CBD. I still don't know what Kratom is. That used to be my yoga shop. My yoga studio. Imagine a yoga studio going from this like holistic experience where everyone's trying to just like meditate and stretch and like be a better person to like neon lights and kratom, whatever that is. You hate to see it. I guess the answer there is that tobacco is more addictive than yoga, which is unfortunate. So up next we have the Arlington Modern Arts Museum right here on this block. I was gonna wait a couple weeks where they would have Lady Liberty lying in the front lawn. Oftentimes they do artistic stuff over there, little lawn ornaments and whatnot. So the Museum of Modern Art in Arlington has a lot of cool exhibits and educational platforms. Y'all want to get in it? There you go. Everyone loves the camera. So they have tennis courts, and then we have Ashton Heights as well in the back there with Erdo communities. I haven't looked up the age on those. Those are apartments, but they may as well be from the 1930s as well. So Arlington Modern Art Museum. I mean, I said don't move to Virginia Square for the culture, but I bet a lot of people didn't know that Virginia Square had a modern art museum. So that's pretty neat. So there are not many parks in Virginia Square, but this is one of them. This is Oakland Streets Park. So they recently redeveloped this one, added a seating area right there. I believe that's an elephant. If you can imagine an elephant without the trunk, but the body. I meant to walk through it, but I guess we're gonna be walking around. Look at those two people. You think they're on a date? That looks like a nice date. Who knew? Oakland Park. Virginia Square is for lovers. Then we have Mattress Warehouse. I tell you what, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but if I put on my tinfoil hat, I kind of think something weird is going on with Mattress Warehouse. Does everyone in this building always need to be buying mattresses? I don't trust Mattress Warehouse. Here's more of the park. Nice quiet spot to relax and hang out amongst the nondescript, boxy apartments and office space. So one of the last places that we'll go to right now is Tower Villa. There's only one villa. There's not villas. There's just one Tower Villa, and that's right here. So this was one of the first high-rise residential buildings along the Orange Line. How about that? 1974. So it predates the Orange Line. Fantastic views on the higher floors, huge balconies. A lot of them still have parquet floors, but you know, imagine like your Bill Russell playing at the Boston Garden with the parquet floors. Promised myself I wouldn't do too many references. You may get some, you're probably not gonna get a lot, but high condo fees, all utilities included, large floor plans. They don't make the floor plans like they used to. You know, 2 bedrooms can be 1,500 square feet. 1 bedrooms can be 1,000 square feet. So if you want a large floor plan, that could be the place to be. They also have washer and dryer in units, which for 1974 is no easy feat, let me tell you. Here's another look at the park. It's like a nice oak tree right there. Would have gotten chopped at a couple spots. We have a church here on the left, a couple little libraries. The sun's going down over Virginia Square. It's a nice night out. You know, I try to figure out the most exciting times to do these walkthrough videos. And when you do them in July, you're not gonna do them during the day. So I think right at dusk was the move. And when there's commercial buildings, there's pretty much no one around, at least after 5 p.m. So when you can't decide what side of the street to walk on because of a noisy generator, you decide to walk in the middle. And you know what? That's perfectly okay, because that's what we do in Virginia Square. We walk in the middle of the street. right off. So at this point, we are coming to the end of the tour, and we are ending at the Metro because, of course, it's got a Metro stop, the Virginia Square Metro, home to the Orange and the Silver Line. So we have some storage units right here, and then we have the Metro platform, we have the e-bikes, we have Virginia Square condominiums, Virginia Square Plaza, I believe. And then, as noted before, Virginia Square apartments all the way up here. What a convenient place. Again, doesn't have the activity as Ballston, doesn't have the cachet like Clarendon has, but you may be able to enjoy all those amenities without having to pay those prices. So it's certainly a good opportunity. And all I can say is don't sleep on Virginia Square because you may be missing out. That's about it. I think I covered pretty much everything I wanted to. If I missed anything, be sure to let me know in the comment section below. And thank you so much for watching. Until next time, create a productive day. Take care.